In this tutorial, we're going to create a fog effect on this particular image by using one of our filters and the basic masking technique. So the first step, once you have the image open, you want to go ahead and create a new blank layer. On that layer, I want to use the rendering cloud filter, but first I want to change my color swatches. So I'm going to change the two color swatches from a light gray and then also a dark gray. And this is pretty flexible what you want to do. You can see the different effects. If you don't like what your finished product is, you can always go back and redo this aspect too. I'm actually going to make my dark gray just a little bit darker here. Okay, so I have a blank layer. I have these two colors, the foreground and background color. Now I'm ready to apply the rendered cloud filter. Once I click, it does the work for me. And reminder that we'll be using some different opacity techniques with masking to remove part of this, but in general, this looks a little bit like clouds. And if I wanted to, I could also apply a Gaussian blur or any other type of blur too. I normally result to doing that more towards the end of this task, so I can first see really what the clouds are doing, and then if I want it to be less sharp, I can add a blur. So all I'm set to do now, this is the layer above my playground. I need to add a mask. And then I can use my masking techniques to just paint away what I don't want. So the first step is I got to consider my brush. If I click right now, let me just increase opacity. If I click right now, it's a very hard edge brush. So I'm not going to get it to look very good or very natural. So I'm going to undo that. First, I'm going to change the hardness of my brush either by the drop down or by using the shift left bracket. And now my brush has softened quite a bit. And you can see that up here. I'm going to go ahead and I made the brush a lot larger. Again, I can do a single click now. It's a much softer brush, but I don't know that I want 100% opacity. I want to be able to be selective in how much I see and maybe build it up to make it look as natural as possible for clouds. So let me go ahead and change my opacity now of the brush, around 40%. And if this were really true clouds or fog, kind of think about where it would be most realistic. Generally, you see that fog accumulating further off in the distance. So some of the foreground is going to have less fog, but I really want to see some in the playground and some within the trees, but I still want to get a grip of what that whole image is like. So I'm going to be selectively removing some of the clouds accordingly. So let's go ahead and start off with the foreground. And the more I go over it, it keeps building that 41% over and over again. So now it's much more visible closer up. But as I look through some of these other areas, come up to the top here. And so now I'm getting some cloud and fog and mist. If I want to make it a little bit thicker in the area of the playground equipment, I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. I'm going to decrease the opacity, and then I'm going to change my color so I can reveal back what I had taken away at one point. And so now I can, just by using that brush, really selectively pick and choose where I want the fog, where I don't want the fog. I'm going to go back to the black brush again and remove a little bit more here in the foreground. Make sure that is quite plain and visible, so I will have some contrast so you can really see where the fog is. I might actually clean up a little bit, make a little bit more of this up here, more transparent. And so that's all it takes, is just using your masking, applying that rendered clouds filter layer, and then masking back what you vision in creating some fog and clouds.